Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to create a really natural, almost no makeup like, but I feel like it's gonna end up being a little bit more than no makeup makeup. The no makeup style can either be, you know, a little bit more makeup-y or like very no makeup, like almost looking like you're just wearing some skincare. So I feel like I'm gonna find a place in the middle with the products that I grabbed, but this is also going to be only using drugstore products, so products that are easily accessible, affordable. The two products that are inspiring me to create this look are the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. I think that this is a really interesting concealer formula because concealers are usually meant to conceal, to, you know, cover up blemishes and all of that. But I feel like this concealer really allows your skin to peek through while you use it. And then the other product is a little bit newer to my collection as well. This is the Flower Beauty Gel Crush Lip and Cheek. I really like gel-like formulas for the no makeup look because you're not really adding any more coverage to your cheek area. You're really just adding like a light layer of sheen and color. So I'm really excited to get into today's look. I have a few different no makeup looks on my channel. This one, like I said, I think it's going to end up looking a little bit more makeup-y, but still super natural, super wearable, and pretty affordable. I am so upset by how my pothos is looking in the back. I just watered it and it just hasn't had time to like liven up the leaves again, but please know that it has been watered and it will not look like this next time. The first product that I'm going to go in with is the Coola Do Good Illuminating Serum SPF 30. Especially since it is summertime, I feel like a lot more people spend more time outside in the summer. You definitely don't want to skip the SPF. And I love that this SPF has a beautiful, beautiful glow to it. I feel like the glow in this helps the skin look a little bit more perfected and just like naturally dewy and glowy. The Coola brand isn't super affordable. I would love if someone in the comments could let me know if you know of a really affordable, dewy, glowy sunscreen. However, Coola is considered a mass product at Ulta, so that's why I kind of felt comfortable including it. But again, it is a little bit more pricey. Everything else in this video is definitely more affordable, but I didn't want to skip out on sunscreen, and I love how the Coola Do Good looks on the skin, and it just creates a really beautiful base for makeup. I am going to continue prepping the skin. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I'm going to press this into the skin. You might also want to wait a little while to let your sunscreen kind of set. That's kind of why I'm taking the primer and kind of pressing it in instead of rubbing it into the skin, just so I'm not moving around the sunscreen too much. But again, you know, if you're not filming a tutorial, I'd probably wait a little while to start applying some of your other products. But this primer is just going to allow makeup to really adhere to it and make it last longer. Now I'm taking my NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. I use the shade Golden. Just going to put 2 pumps on the back of my hand. I don't think I'm going to use all of that product. Oh yeah, that was way too much. I should not have put that much on there. One of my tips in my very first no makeup tutorial was to not put any concealer right in the corner of your eyes. That just is giving it permission to crease. Concealers are absolutely not creaseless. So what I'm doing is pretty much applying my concealer only on the outer corner and then more on my cheekbone to get a highlighted look without having it crease right in that little area. I know I just put a little bit right there. Let me just kind of wipe it away. I'm just taking it down my nose, on the sides of my nose. Not too worried about putting too much concealer on. Obviously that comes with preference as well, but because this formula is so lightweight and it's really light coverage, I'm not worried about looking like I'm wearing too much makeup. I'm gonna put a little bit over here, just have a bit of darkness right there. I'm taking my sponge and I'm just going to press the concealer into the skin. Yeah, this concealer is so natural. This concealer is definitely not going to be for everyone because, like I said earlier, I feel like a lot of people use concealer to cover things up, and although This is adding a little bit of coverage for sure. It's definitely not a full coverage concealer. I feel like this might be great for people who are just starting out with makeup. Maybe even if you're a little bit younger and just starting out. This concealer is really beautiful though. I recently took it out of my top shelf, or like my top drawer, just because I wasn't using it that often, but I might put it back in because that just looks so pretty. Before I move on to the bronzer, the blush, I'm going to go ahead and start on my brows. This is the e.l.f. Brow Lift. I'm just lifting up my brows with this product. I like doing this step first before adding any color, which would totally be up to you. Some people have a bit more full brows and all you really need to do is run some brow product through them to have them kind of stay in place. But for me, I do have some areas in my brows that I do like to kind of make them look a little bit fuller. So the reason why I'm doing this first is so that I can kind of set my brows, see exactly where I need to add that extra color so that I don't add anything more than I need to. Because like my brows, when you're looking straight at me, they look very full in the front. Like they look full, they look fine. But then when I turn to the side, I need to fill them in a little bit at the tail end. And especially on this side, I need to fill them in at the tail end just a little bit. So once I'm done kind of distributing the brow lift through my brows, I'm just gonna let that product sit for a minute. And then I'll go in and add some color after. This is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I wear mine in the shade Golden Days. Shade just looks like this. I love this bronzer so much and I feel like it looks very natural on the skin. It's kind of like a powder cream. You kind of get the best of both worlds with this type of formula. And how I'm applying this bronzer is I'm kind of just like stippling my brush. This is the e.l.f. Airbrush Precision Brush. Kind of just stippling this brush around the perimeter of my face. See how I have naturally a bit more deepness kind of up by my hairline? I'm just kind of darkening that up a little bit. It adds some sculpting to the skin, just adds a little bit of warmth all over. I really never contour, even in like my daily life when I'm not doing a no makeup look. I just don't really enjoy the look of contouring. But I do always bronze and I feel like I get a very similar effect with bronzer, except I just think it's a little bit more natural looking and, you know, simpler as well. So I'm just going around the perimeter like I said and doing those kind of like stippling motions where you're blending but also just kind of lightly pressing the product into the skin. And less is more with a no makeup look. I personally might add a little bit of extra bronzer on a regular day, but because we're keeping this makeup really light, I'm going to keep this as is. I am just adding a little bit of color to my nose. I feel like adding a little bit of color to your nose is more natural as well because you don't only have color on the outside of the face, you also have color on the inside of your face naturally. So it's okay to put some of that back, especially when, you know, you've covered a bit of it up with makeup. I already have a bit of deepness on my eyelids. If you want to cover that up, you totally can. I think it's much more natural and very beautiful to just leave it as is, especially because I personally really like the natural look of that deepness that I have on my eyelid. I think that it's really pretty. To kind of accentuate that a little bit, I'm taking a little bit of my bronzer on my finger and I'm just adding a little bit of it to the outer corner. I can maybe take a little bit of it in the crease as well, but that was just like the smallest amount and it just added a little bit of deepness to the eyelid, just kind of accentuated what was naturally there already. And I think that that's so pretty. I think curling your lashes is such a crucial part to a no makeup look, whether you're wearing mascara or you're not. I feel like when you curl your lashes, it definitely emphasizes what is already naturally there. and makes your eyes look a little bit more awake, makes your lashes look longer and fuller. And you can stop there. You don't have to add any mascara after that point. But I'm only adding a very, very thin layer of mascara. This is the Milani Highly Rated Mascara. I usually wear this mascara full on, like layer this mascara up, and I have been really, really enjoying it. But for today's look, I'm just adding like the tiniest amount, focusing at the base and then just running it up. So focusing at the base and just running it up. I'm going to try, this eye is a little bit more challenging because of the direction of the lashes, but it's so hard because I want to add more, but I'm going to keep it like that, super duper natural. The mascara is also going to help hold the lashes, hold the curl as well. I just think that the light layer of mascara really made a huge difference to the eye area. Let's return back to my brows. Before I go in and add any color, I just kind of want to brush out the dried product. I love the e.l.f. brow lift because it doesn't get flaky on me like other brow products. So I can continue to brush out the brows, no problem. I'm just gonna shake up my NYX Lift and Snatch. I'm going to kind of run it on the back of my hand just a little bit, making sure that there's no kind of like chunky bits. And then I'm going to lightly fill in the tail of my brow. And try and extend it just a little. I really want to leave the front of my brows a little bit, but this side is a little uneven compared. Of course, I'm going in and adding a little bit more. Like I said, I didn't want to, but... And then I'm taking my spoolie again, just making sure all of that product is all blended in and everything can look as natural as possible. This is the Flower Beauty Gel Crush Lip and Cheek in the shade Blackberry Crush. I'm just going to warm the product up on the back of my hand. I don't want to tug too much when I get it directly on my skin. And I'm going to swipe and swipe. A little bit of extra swiping. And let me go ahead, put a little bit on the lips, and I'm taking a brush and just blending it in, pressing it in. Personally, I think that bronzer would maybe just look more natural on its own. Like you might be able to tell a little bit more that I'm wearing makeup because of the blush, but that's still super natural. I feel like blush adds some really great just color to the skin, life to the skin. This also added a really nice natural glow, and I love that. I would add a little bit more product. I'm just going to pick it up with my brush, and I'm just adding it right in the front, like right up the tops of the cheeks. The Milani Color Statement Lip Liner in 04 is probably my most natural looking lip liner. It's one of my favorites. I am taking the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner in 04, and I'm going to lightly line my lips to make them a little bit more even. My lip line is not perfect. There are spots where I like kind of don't have any lip color going on, and I use my lip liner to just kind of even that all out. I'm not really focusing on overlining. I'm just really focusing on perfecting that line around my lips. I pulled out one of my favorite lip balms. This is the e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm in Tough Cookie. I love how this one smells as well. I got a little bit of it on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to press it into the lips. It's just gonna kind of look like I'm wearing a lip balm. Doesn't really add too much color. It adds like a little bit of color, but I think that that's fair. That's fine, you know? I personally would not be so quick to set this makeup with powder, especially with just the sheer amount of makeup that you're wearing. It's really not got anywhere to go because there's not too much on your skin anyway. I grabbed the Milani Prep Set and Go powder. I don't think that this powder exists anymore. I just looked it up and there are places that are selling it for like $30, and I know that that is not the pricing that Milani set. They do have a Prep Set and Glow powder, and then they also have another like HD powder that looks like this. But I'm just going to take this powder. I would just use whatever powder you had on hand or just not even bother powdering. I'm really enjoying how the makeup is looking without all of that. But I am just going to lightly press some powder where I would get pretty oily throughout the day, which for me is the forehead, around the nose, a bit on the chin, and I'm just lightly tapping a little bit of it underneath of the eyes. But again, like, we don't have any makeup really in those inner corner areas. And then to add back the glow, make it last even longer, I'm going to go in with the Milani Make It Last setting spray. Using a setting spray, I would also feel very confident skipping powder. I just wanted to add a little bit of powder to kind of show you where I would add that powder, and to let you know that is obviously an option. But the setting spray I feel like would be enough for me, especially with a look like this. I pulled you in a little closer so that you can see the skin and everything. I really love how it all is looking and just how it's sitting on the skin, how it feels. It kind of just feels like I'm wearing some skincare. I really hope you all enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, discovered some new products that you might want to try out. I feel like sometimes with the amount of makeup that gets released and just the amount of products that are available, the kinds of looks that we see all the time, we forget that makeup can be used to enhance the features. And that's it. This kind of makeup is really comfortable, it's really comforting, and I just feel really, really confident. So I hope that you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I will see you next time.